about this a little bit before. They're pulled a little tighter, so it takes a little bit more to absorb a brain solution in them. That's not tanned right there. That's not tanned, and it's still a little bit rubbery. A little bit of fat. Let me pull that off there while I'm here. A little bit of fat off. A little bit of fat. A little bit right there. Still a little bit of fat on them. A little bit of grease in there. So, all in though, we're looking really, really, really good. Another good indicator on whether this is working or not is pull on the hair. If I pull on the hair, just pick a spot right here, and it doesn't come out, that's a good sign. If I grab a hold of that hair anywhere and it comes out easily, that's a bad sign. If you smell your flesh side and it stinks and it smells like it's rotting, it probably is. If most of your brain solution is soaked in, and this soaked in wonderfully, and it's cool out, you typically don't smell that. And sometimes you can smell it, and the hide's already tanned, and you just scrape off the residual. If you smell that stink, that rot, and the hair slips, that's bad. That's kind of the 102, 103 class on how to fix this, if it's possible. But so far, everything is looking really good. What I have found with bears in particular, any animal that you keep the head, the ears, and the nose on, but bears in particular, some of the hardest spots to tan out on a bear are the ears. And one reason why is the ears are not typically exposed to the sun all the time, and they don't get adequate air circulation because they fall over. So right under where the ear connects to the skull is by far the trickiest part to tan. And as you can see right here, really clear right here, we still have some wet brain solution on there. And that's not bad, but it's something we want to be very mindful of. So what I'll do is find sticks that are the right length, and there's none right here. Any type of piece of bark or a stick that will hold that ear up and get some air circulation, and then actually get it to be exposed in the sun. Or I'll take the entire stretching rack with a hide on it and flip it 180 degrees so the ears will flop down. But everything around here is looking really good. Now this is not tanned out because it's so much thicker right here. So we're going to rebrain this the same way we did before, get our brain solution heated up, make it a nice creamy white paste, and we're going to rebrain all of this. Let's come down here and pull on these. Hair is not slipping, so we are good to go. Not stinking really at all. Just smells like cooked brains. So we're in really good shape. I'm going to push my fingers down in there, still got brain solution on them, to get a little bit of air circulation. Yeah, the hair is nice and tight. It's not slipping at all. Still have our bottle inside there. So we're going to take him out now because we do want some some air circulation in there. Probably in another day or so, we're going to put the head right side out. If it dries like this, like really dries, you're going to have to get in there with 2 pairs of channel lock pliers and push that face right side out. So we're starting to get to be where we want. These are both looking really good. The nose is looking good. Eyes are looking good. We still have a little bit of brain solution around that isn't totally soaked in, but looking real good. I'm going to grab on the lips. Hair is nice and tight. Nice and tight on the lips. Everything is looking really good. So what I like to do at this point, if I do have a little brain solute or a little piece of brain that isn't totally dried out, that's kind of caked. This is the beauty of having guinea hens. I want to squeeze on it and rub it back in. Our next YouTube video is going to be guinea hens at the beginning of the end of your life. Thanks, y'all. So, we could get our ulu and scratch what little fat is off. There's still a little bit on there. Didn't see this one coming, did we? You're going to be up here next, Jack. We're going to squish the rest of the leftover brains. We're going to just go around the hide and push all the rest of that in. Let it do what it does. Mama, how are you doing? We're going to make sure that nothing is folded over. Nothing is folded over, that all the flesh side is exposed. All the flesh side is exposed. Not a lot to do. This soaked in really, really nicely. Yeah, we are looking pretty good. We're going to check all the claws. We're going to feel that little pocket where we stuffed as much brains as we could. Squish that around a little bit. You can use a little bit of water if you need. If not, spit on it to make it a little bit slipperier. Yeah, the hair's good. We're in real good shape. Open these guys up just a bit. Yeah, we're in good shape. We're in real good shape. So probably I'm going to brain him one more time, probably this afternoon, and then we're probably going to take him down off the stretching rack. See what the weather's going to do. I'm going to watch the weather real close. If it warms back up, especially if it warms back up and it's going to rain, I'm going to take him down. And we could put him back in the freezer and start on him again when it cools back off, or we can brain him and put him on the breaking post and start softening him up a little bit. But we do have options. There is nothing that's jumping out and making me really nervous about him so far. This is turning out really, really, really nice. So, yeah, there we go. So we are very, very close to being done with this entire project. Yeah, these are looking real good. Okay, so we are going to check back in tomorrow and see where we're at with this guy. Okay, it's been 2 days since we left the bear hide, and since then I've done a rebraining on the hump, which is where you see it's still a little bit white, from the hump down to the head, and was very mindful again of the ears that they didn't get flopped over and got no air circulation. And that, as if you remember, was one of the biggest things that'll make the hair slip. And we're at that almost finished stage of everything that we're doing until we soften, where in particular the head is still somewhat malleable. So now we're going to turn the head right side out. We're going to unstring just a little bit of the head from the mason twine. If you wait too long with this, the head will be hard enough and solid enough that you'll need to get a pair of vice grips to do this with, because the skin is so thick it won't move at all. It'll be rigid and you'll have an inside out bear hide. So we're going to push that right side out. Now we do have to be careful how wet the flesh side still is, because there's going to be a little less air circulation and exposure to the sun. So we still want to be very mindful of the temperature outside and how much wet solution is inside the head cavity. If it's too much, you still risk everything slipping. So when we get this big boy inside out, we want to be very mindful of what we're doing. What we're going to do after we're done with some of this today, I'm going to take him out of the sun because he's warm to the touch. That could potentially create a little bit of fat burn, it's called, where there's a couple of these little spots where there's still a little bit of fat on the hide. That heats up, and just like any fat does, it can cook the hide, and that will damage the collagen fibers, make it stiff, and or make the hair slip. I might need to get a pair of pliers, push the nose out. So we'll get to that here in a bit. I'm going to push the ears inside out, or right side out. I'm going to pull on the hair, not slipping at all. It's exactly what we were looking for. They're still a little dirty. We're going to have to take him to the salon when we're done, get him shampooed. But it essentially is done with wonderful success. Okay. Good deal. Nice. Okay. So we are in business. And I definitely want to flip that nose inside out before it gets too dry. Got an elf nose, like that. A little bit too hard to do with just fingers. Nice. I don't know if you can tell from here, but from the initial fleshing this guy out, where I sewed the holes up, here's one. This was the long one. That was about 4.5, 5 inches long. There was one hole here. See where I can find it. Here's the hole. The big laceration that he was fleshed out with in his leg. Big laceration right here. Big laceration right here. and another one in the top left-hand corner. How they tanned out, because they were sewed up very meticulously, very carefully, turned out wonderful. You won't be able to tell that from the hair side at all. If it looks this clean right here, it's going to look just that clean on the other side. So, we are about ready to soften him up. Now, what you do from here on is pretty much up to you. You can soften the hide, meaning run it over a breaking post or some type of device that will help stretch out those collagen fibers more and more. I don't typically do that a lot, especially with a bear, because it's already relatively soft. And there's different schools of thought with this. The softer I make the hide from this side, meaning the more I stretch it out and the more I agitate those collagen fibers, the more I could potentially loosen the hair follicles and have the hair slip. If you're going to use your bear for a rug, all bets are off. It's going to slip quicker because people are going to be walking on it, probably with shoes, so that's not a good idea. If you do not break your hide in at all from here, you're probably going to have a hair on the hide a lot longer. How long? Depends on what you do with it. If it's a dry environment, if it's a moist environment, if it's out in the sun, what the general conditions are. But if you do not break this hide in, whatever animal it is, any further than you already have, your hide is probably going to be intact a little bit longer.